Oh, good. Looks like the ad ended. It's always um, exciting to try to figure out where it lines up. So, hello, welcome. Happy Wednesday, I think. I think it's Wednesday. Sometimes it's a little hard to figure out days. But here we are. I realized that I have not worked on the blending since, I don't know, last Thursday. And I gotta get it finished. So, here we are. So we're gonna do that. Let's see. I've been gone for a couple of days. I had a medical procedure yesterday with anesthesia, which meant that I was not supposed to do anything exciting, like drive a car or say things that are recorded for posterity. So I did not, in fact, try to stream yesterday, though I kept really wanting to, which was a good sign not to, I think. Don't stream when medicated in a way where the doctors tell you not to do anything important. So, excuse me. Oh God, did not even manage to mute the mic for that. Sorry about that. So since last we talked, I think I showed these guys. I'm gonna be doing them on stream in a bit too. And also because I'm me, I have of course started a new hobby, because the raid train from the Creator Club, which I just posted a message to, meant that I saw many other people doing hobbies, so of course I started one. So I've started trying to do diamond painting. This is my one and only attempt so far. This is as far as I got. This you can do while on post anesthesia. Also, yes, that is Mr. Spock. Do I have a picture of what it's gonna look like when it's done? No, but it's like Mr. Spock with a weird phaser, like doing little dancey moves. I saw it and I saw that it was Spock, and then basically there was no more discussion, right? Like I had to get it. So we'll eventually do some of that on stream, maybe even a little bit later today. But I gotta get this thing going. So yeah, I managed to wind the other 2 yarns, so the green of this ended up being just shy of 700 yards, and the light blue, which was supposed to be 700 yards. Oh, this is misaligned somehow. Let's make this straighter. Something in this house needs to be straight, right? Like, and we know it's not me. Do I turn it this way or that way for it to be straighter? Who knows? I'm sure somebody with lots more knowledge of physics and mechanics than me knows. Oh, it looks like this way because that's straightening it out. Okay, does that works? So we just need to tighten it. This like allows this to turn so that you can fit it between your knees on your lap, but I prefer to do it on a table and kind of use my rib cage as a brace. Anyway, I should be doing this while talking and not just talking. This is why nothing gets done in this house. Also, where's the end that I was pulling yarn from? What was I saying? I was saying something. Oh yes, and so the blue, which was like 7 ounces and supposed to be about 700 yards, turned out to be like, I don't know, 460 or something, like just under 500. So I ordered a bunch more of the blue and the purple. This is the second thing of the purple that I've got. The first one's already on the thing. So we'll see if the purple comes out the same length as the blue. It should. I'm trying to make it the same, kind of like the same gauge of yarn, but you know, best laid plans and all that. So we'll see. I'm hoping, but because I need to end up with somewhere between 15 and 1800 yards of the blue and around 1,000 yards of the purple, it's gonna take a little while to get it all spun up. But again, I'm hoping, and I'm going on a 2-week trip in January, like the 2nd through the 14th, and I don't think I'm gonna take my wheel. I'm a little worried about, so normally I fly with it just fine, and TSA is just peachy keen with it. But when I fly to visit my parents, which is what I'm doing, I don't just have to contend with TSA security, I have to contend with LL security, which is additional screening and stuff, and I'm a little worried about them, like, being weirded out by it, and me not being able to then, like, do anything, right? Like, I don't have money to replace it now. If it dies, and, you know, while it's a very small wheel, it's also not the Nano. So, it's probably just safer for everybody for me to not bring it. Plus, it's not like, so most of my downtime when I visit my parents is on Shabbos, and it's not like I can use it on Shabbos. Both because it's, you know, electric, and also because, just in general, right? Like, you absolutely cannot get away from the fact that spinning yarn is creating, right? Like, I can't even knit on Shabbos. So, what I might do is see where my other projects are, like where my new crochet project's at. I started this cowl thing that I saw the Crafty Cub do on his stream, and so far it is very confusing. It's a Mobius cowl. That part's not confusing. I am counting in repeats of 4, and because it's crochet, that part is 100% confusing. So we'll see. Maybe I'll bring that. See if maybe I'm done by then. Buy it like it's not supposed to take very long. Maybe we'll do some of that on stream as well. But yeah, so I'm working on that. I'm working on the diamond painting. Of course, I have like 2 different cross stitch things to finish, and one of them is for Hanukkah, which is this particular year, coincidentally starting on the evening of December 25th. So that's soon, right? It's the 18th today. So it's certainly not going to be done by the first night of Hanukkah for anybody. And I have weaving to do. It's just been so cold downstairs that I haven't been able to do it. But and of course my housemate's works down there, so I can't necessarily stream it, but I can record it. And I've been meaning to do that and do like a couple of videos of just my weaving with probably not even a voiceover, but just like some chill music in the background. Because it's not like I'm trying to teach or explain anything with my weaving. God knows I don't know what I'm doing. But just kind of posting it to have it there. Right, that is the wrong brush. Stay away, brush. Also, I have Girl Scout cookies, and they are really bad for my blood sugar, actually. Surprising to no one. But I spent all of Monday not eating food. So yesterday I was like, very hungry, so I ate like I mean, I ate like lunch and dinner, but also I ate an entire box of Girl Scout cookies. And then looked at what my blood sugar monitor was saying and went, why is it so high? Oh, I ate an entire box of Girl Scout cookies. That would, in fact, raise my blood sugar to apparently only my surprise. Like, that should not have been a surprise. But it was, so. Yeah. Tomorrow, I am going to, at this time tomorrow, I'm going to be going and meeting up with Pukra, because on Black Friday we jointly ordered a bunch of yarn from Hobby to like save on shipping and whatnot. And also I've not like seen their new house because they bought it during the pandemic and then time had no meaning, and you know how it is. So yeah, I will check that out and bring that back. I think that yarn is going to be weaving yarn though, not knitting yarn, but we'll see. I bought it with the intent for it to be weaving yarn. Okay, get this laid out. I think I want to put, well, it's got a layer of, I keep grabbing, okay, I'm gonna put this brush elsewhere because I just keep grabbing it and it is very much not the right brush. So let's get this. This is getting combed out and we don't want it out, we want it in. Yeah, this is like, this will make for very thin rologs. So let's add a little bit more to it. Put like a little bit more silk on, just to get like a little bit of silk in there, a little bit of the purple. Oh, it is like a very, very nice, gorgeous purple. Also, I got a like a pound of undyed merino that I want to do some with. I got it because I also have a bunch of this really pretty light blue straight up bamboo, and straight up bamboo is basically death to spin. So it's very slippery. So I want to blend it together, blend the bamboo into a merino so that it's not as terrible. Right, let's get another layer of this on top, and just so folks like know what it is that we're doing. This is 60% Polworth, 20% yak, and 20% silk that we are adding, some more percentage of silk to. In the end, it's going to be like basically 4.5 ounces total. So we will see how it goes. Let's just get coverage on top of the silk here, and then we'll roll this up. So I think this is getting there and getting kind of decent. So. Somebody was telling me that this is some sort of weird weird ASMR happening when I do this, which I guess I can see. Certainly not on purpose, but it was kind of a bunch of nice, soothing, chill sounds. So. Okay. Alright. Let's brush this down. Get it all in there. Alright, time for deep action, basically. Alright. Alright, now. Hold the thoughts. Okay. Okay, gotta pull on this. So again, we're pulling to kind of get a nicer, neater alignment of the fibers. We're failing to pull is what's happening. Come on, there we go. Got that. So we pull down, lift it up, and roll it on. Right, and pulling it through means that all the fibers just sort of line up fairly neatly, and let's break that and make that the rologs. So here we go. Yeah, so you can see, right, like they're just, you know, it's breaking up all the clumps and anything that is still there, despite me you know, combing it out and all that jazz. So, and like I was saying last time, one of the reasons I really like putting this silk in is that it's giving it like a little bit of a pearlescent kind of thing going. So, roll you up and then figure out where I can put you so that you're not terribly in the way. Maybe over here. Snail. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna lift this guys up. Just so that I can, they just need to be up enough so that I can grab them with the sticks. Because the sticks are supposed to kind of like hold everything on, but they don't like always do it super well, so come on, you can do this. Yep. Definitely boob action time, which you can't see on stream, which is probably for the best, but you know, I'm just bracing it with my sternum is what's actually happening. Alright, but this is not staying on, and I am not a fan of that. So we're gonna deal with that later, random bit, and we're gonna pick this up here and try to, there we go, try to just kind of get these guys aligned. Come on. This is not an exact science. Apparently we have an ad in 5 minutes. Why do we have an ad? Who knows? We'll deal with the ad when the ad occurs. Take the opportunity to get, you know, water and other such things during ad break when it happens. So. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is gonna be a very, very, very messy rolog. That's okay. And that bit that I pulled off, I'm just gonna blend into the next unit of doing this, right? Like, it's super no big deal. It's not like this is our last board, right? So, okay. Come on, friend. Okay, do not unravel. Like, be a nice little snail, and sit here and be snail-like. Okay, so let's see if we can get the rest of this up and off. Sort of, maybe. We are maybe kind of sort of getting there. Kind of. That. Is why we have the other brush that I totally conveniently put away. But it is for picking up those things that are like, nope, we're comfy here at the bottom. Okay, I guess that's... Was that a hint that you were done being a rolog, or what? Is that what that was? Come on. Pull through and pull off. Okay. There we go. So I've mostly got it. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm literally resting one of the sticks on the desk and the other one not, so I can sort of just get some mechanical help pulling one out. Because the way you get the rologs is you pull one stick out so that you now have a bigger hole down middle, and you can get the other stick out. So, okay. Fat, slightly unfloppy snail. Stay. Okay, so now we're just gonna... This is just gonna get blended in with the rest of the stuff. It's still a little bit already aligned, but like, whatever. Who cares, right? It's all the same. And this is sort of, people get very artsy with this part. And if I was doing, some kind of art yarn, I might, but I am literally just blending the silk in. And to be fair, I'm also making this thing be made of rologs, which is, they're just easier to spin. Like, obviously I can spin off of a, just long going strand of fiber, but, a rolled up roving. But rologs are just easier because they're basically pre-drafted, right? Like that's what I'm doing when I'm pulling it off the board. Like really is I'm drafting it, I'm aligning all the fibers, so I don't have to do any of that kind of like while I'm spinning, which is what I normally do. So, and you'll see the difference when we spin this between spinning kind of like a regular fiber and spinning from a rolog. It's very much easier. All right, ads starting soon. How soon? It no longer tells me the time. guess Siri bot will tell us when the actual ad is. But it's sort of, it says, okay, well, we're gonna do an ad, and then it takes its sweet, sweet time to actually get that going, making it like a little bit hard to pre-plan, but at least it's telling me it all, so I suppose I shouldn't complain too overly much. Because it used to be a time when it just ran an ad. It did not tell you. So we'll be back. And now with microphone, I think we're back from ad, but gave me the opportunity to hydrate, which everybody else should also do. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to getting this silk into this yak. And I know it's only 20% yak, but like, just makes it funnier to think about. Yaks have very soft undercoats, so it's very nice to spin. Not as nice as camel. Nothing is as nice as camel, although, yeah, camel have like a down coat because it gets wicked cold at night in the desert, so they're very warm and they're very soft and fluffy. It's like, it makes me think of, every time I think about camel down, I also think about this one time. So I was at Penzig going through the merchants, and there's this was a long time ago. There's a merchant that was selling like pelts, furs, mostly bunnies and foxes and stuff like that, but he also had beaver, which, you know, people who were not from like Canada or Russia or whatever don't encounter beavers very much, know that they, you know, they make dams and they're very industrious or whatever. And also live in the water. So most people know beavers have like the big tails and stuff. What people don't know is that beavers have literally the softest fur on the planet. And this is why like Canadian fur traders were very popular, because hats and coats and things made out of beaver were very, very warm, reasonably waterproof, and very, very soft. It was like the softest fur coat ever. So I would go by that merchant periodically just to kind of pet the furs. Yes, everybody can make jokes about petting the beaver. I'm sure since we are all vaguely 12 on the inside, and sometimes on the outside, we can all say that. So, oh, the other project I gotta do too is I gotta go pick up my Knitpicks order came in. I gotta go to mailbox at the common house and pick it up, but it's the yarn in the colors of the Seattle Worldcon, so I can start playing with the patterns. So I have cross stitch patterns and I will. I want to make a knit pattern format. I think you guys saw me working on this cross stitch bookmark, so that's some of the patterns. Ooh, I also should do that with pearl beads too. I can make that rocket, I think. Can do it pretty easily too. So yeah, so I gotta work on turning that into a knit pattern. What I think I want to do is like make a dice pouch that that puts like the rocket on it. Maybe I don't want to try to do words. Like words are really hard to do in like stranded color work, which is what this is going to be. It's going to be stranded color work, but I might just add the chart for the words to just so people can overstitch it or something after the fact. But I think what I'm gonna do is have it knit, nodding around, have it knit straight and then stitched, because that would be, stitched up the side, because that would be, I think, easier for newer knitters, and also like just would be easier, I think, and easier to then add overstitched lettering to, and I can link to some websites that show you how to join in a nice way, so you're not like literally stitching it up like on a sewing machine, because some people see, and then stitch it up in a pattern and think that that's what they'll be doing, and it's just not. Like, you can, I suppose, but there's no reason to. You do a knitting join with a tapestry needle, right? Because it's the sides, it's bound off sides, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need to get and obviously I'll test knit it, but I'm gonna need to get another test knitter, like somebody who's very, very fast to test knit it. Just to, oh my god, fluffy things are in there. Fluffy things are everywhere. I don't know. It's early. Well, it's not early. It's almost 1 p.m. But I did get out of bed at 11, so. But I just remembered I'm supposed to keep an eye on my text messages, just because a friend has been wanting help with stuff, and I want to make sure I don't miss it. Okay. Let's do this thing. Come on. Pick up the fluffy ends. Do not press down to the fluffy ends. Pick them up, 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 pick them up. Pick them up, roll them out, or something. I don't even know what that was. But let's see. Can we pull this? I do not want to anchor with my thumbs, but I think I have to for the beginning of this. The reason I don't want to anchor with my thumbs is because I want to use my thumbs to hold down the fibers, but I think we're doing okay on picking them up, so. Okay, yeah, so this one is not as thick as the previous one because I think they're just fewer layers, but that's good. And there we go. Oh, you can see the little purple bits. It really is adding like a little almost iridescent, pearlescent extra. The silk does. All right. This is pulling out for future pickup because this is fat enough, and there's no like. This is an art, not a science, so there's nothing exact here happening. So I'm sort of just eyeballing when it is. Come on, there we go. When it is enough. To tear it up and make a new rolog. I know I'm like pointing this right at the camera, so sorry about that, guys. Do not mean to be threatening you with a wooden stick into the camera. Okay, roll up and pretend like you can be neat. Can we do that, little snail? There we go. Okay, this is gonna need to be picked up. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Okay, let's hope that we can do this without like massive problems. Looks likely. Okay, good. No problems yet. Why did I just say that? That basically guarantees problems, right? When you say that? Okay. Come on. Ugh. You want to come along. You do not want to get left behind. No fiber left behind. New initiative. No fiber left behind. It's a terrible initiative. Some fiber just wants to be, like, just does not want to be part of this particular rolog, and I guess we are allowed to allow it, but yes, I just stabbed myself in the stomach with lots and lots and lots and lots of needles. These needles. Somebody was asking me last time, is like, doesn't that hurt? Well, only if you press hard on it. Guess what I'm doing when I'm bracing for it? Pressing hard on it. Okay, come on. Come out. Come out. There we go. Fluff. And like, I can save it for next time, but you know what? We're just gonna shove it on there. Because that's reasonably okay. Ow. Stab myself with a stick in the leg. I wasn't using that leg anyway. Well, at least not right now while sitting down, so I guess that's valid. Alright. For some reason, so this is word association. I don't even know what associated, but my brain just went, you know, we haven't played Oregon Trail in a while. What about what I am doing made my brain think about the Oregon Trail game? Who knows? But there is a lovely Oregon Trail game that's like for the mobile phone, mostly. So for a while I streamed it like via some sort of app that connected my phone to the to the screen. I also think I had it on my, I think I have it on my Switch. So I think we also streamed it that way. Although it's been forever since I used my capture card, because I've been, like, whenever I stream games, I've been streaming games that are from Steam. Sorry, as I you know, we stream Steam games, which are on my computer and don't need any kind of capture card or anything. It just becomes a source full of BS. So, and I have not actually checked that my capture card is working. So when I moved my desk, I had to unplug it and plug it back in, and it's connected to the TV, which is now over there. Like, the TV used to be such that I could be vaguely looking at it and stream at the same time. But now if I wanted to stream something that's on my TV, I'd need to be kind of like sideways to you guys. Which is not the worst thing, but it's not the best thing either. I suppose I could use the Elgato screen, because it does show what it's capturing, but, and the games I played, you know, don't have the kind of delay that is needed to, where the delay is super detrimental, right? Because, like, I was streaming Animal Crossing, and I was streaming Oregon Trail, so it's not exactly high reaction time importance games, which is good, because let me tell you, I am kinda crap at that. Come on. There we go. This is, by the way, so when we talk about the length of the staple, right, if you pull this out, this is the length of the, like, one of these is the length of the fiber. And, you know, as we all know from various, like, proverbs or whatever, not the Bible book, but, like, sayings, you know, united we stand, divided we fall. Like, you can break one stick easily, but when they're in a bundle, it's very hard. It's very, very, very hard to do this, right? Because they're all together. But you can pull one out real easy, and that's kind of it's almost like the foundation of spinning, right? You pull them out a little bit at a time, because that's easy, and you twist them up so they stay together, and because you twist them up so they stay together, that's part of what gives it strength to the single, right? So the other part, of course, is that wool, well, most fibers, but wool, like, especially, has the little hooky things, and it really likes itself, so it hooks onto its next friends over with the little barbs. Not little barbs, but like little scaly things. And grabs on and holds on for dear life. This is also why, by the way, you very carefully don't agitate woolen things when you wash them. Or you do, if you want that effect, but that's how you felt things. Because felting is basically just wool grabbing on to its little friends for dear life and not letting go. Okay, put down this layer. So now we have a nice foundation of that, and we can add the silk chunks to it. And this silk has some of the green in it from the other side. I split it fairly neatly, but you know, not fully. So some of the green ended up on this side, and a little bit of the purple ended up getting spun into the green, which is reasonably okay. So, but this piece was mostly white. But like you can see, there's like a little bit of the green all over the place. There we go. And yeah, so I was thinking I want to try to do some dyeing of the of the natural undyed merino, and I have some dye from Dharma. I have dyed yarn. I've not really dyed unspun fiber. I'm a little worried about felting it. Speaking of felting, just because there's some agitation is sort of, wet agitation is sort of inevitable when you're dyeing things. You gotta like stir the pot literally and stuff like that. So, all right, that's enough for this layer. So the silk, when I comb it out, I want to make sure that I actually pull out the silk, because I don't want it kind of on its own anywhere. So I'm gonna put it in, and it's not like entirely on its own either. When I pulled it out, it did have some of the burgundy with it, but still I want to just kind of get it back in there, give it a chance to blend a little bit more. All right. And again, if anybody just joining us, this is the fiber that we're working on. And oh wow, we're like almost done. I'm thinking this set of rologs and one more, and we'll be done with that, which is pretty nice because we've been going for just a tiny bit shy of an hour, and therefore good to know. But I'm also keeping an eye on time, because the other big task for today is I got to do next week's meal planning and go to the grocery store, and I want to do that before like all the people who go after work go, just to sort of avoid the rush a little bit. But yeah, normally I do my meal planning and shopping on Tuesdays, but yesterday was recovering from anesthesia and a day of not eating food the previous day. So I kind of decided that grocery shopping was not gonna happen, and meal planning was not gonna happen on the days where I was trying to not think about food. Also, like, I've had days where I get up and like today I haven't had any food yet. I get up and I, don't eat for a while, and then I basically go like, oh, well, it's almost dinner time, I'm just gonna eat at dinner. And I just eat dinner. So I spend all day kind of like not eating food, and it's fine. But as soon as it's you can't have food, oh my God. I'm just like, I am starving. Why am I not able to have food? This is stupid. And obviously I know why, but like, my body is just like, we are starving. Why have you not put food in? And I'm just like, body, literally 2 days ago, we did this, and it wasn't a problem. But, bodies. Well, in this case, I think it's brains, really, specifically, because it's like, you can't do it. You must want to do it so much more. Now that you can't, obviously, it is the forbidden fruit. You want it more. In the case of food, it's literally the forbidden fruit. So so if we have just this rolog and one more set of them, I think we need to put more silk in because we've got a bunch of it still. So I'm gonna do another layer, brush this in, put in another layer of silk above it. Let's, yeah, because like we've got a whole bunch of silk, and let's do a nice big, I don't know what this is, but I don't want you in my fiber. Sometimes it's like this fiber has some like schmutz in it. The blue and purple that I was spinning just has like little sticks and stuff, and I'm just like, guys, you turned this into roving, you dyed it. How are there still sticks in that? They've got to be just like schmutz it's picked up since, because, or like as part of their, I don't know, packaging process or something, because it's clearly not like schmutz that the sheep had, because it's not lanolinated and it's not, you know, it's not anything like that. It's just like, I don't know, do you package your yarn with little sticks? Maybe? Is that like the problem that's happening? Frankly, it could be. Who knows? This company is called, that I got that from, is like, I think it's called Gaxet with 2 X's. And they're somewhere in Florida, but for all I know, they get their roving from, I don't know, someplace else. Oh, and I don't want to end on silk. I want to put some of this other stuff on top. Hey, Celtic class, how are you? Welcome. We are blending more silk into this Polworth and Yak and silk. So I want to finish it up, and I haven't worked on it since the raid train. So just kind of trying to get it going. Yeah, I was not on Monday or Tuesday, because Monday I was prepping for a medical procedure, and then Tuesday I had anesthesia in the morning, and I was told, do not operate heavy machinery or do anything else important. So I figured I should not put on video myself and the brain I have after anesthesia. So instead I did diamond painting all day yesterday, which is cool because it was like literally the first time I've ever done it. So because it's a new hobby that I picked up from Black Sheep Meat from the raid train, because I couldn't get away with no new hobbies from the raid train. So at least I'm luckily only limited it to one. But I do have a diamond painting I'm now working on. Okay. Let's see how it's gonna be to pick up this batch. Okay, Fiber. We've had this conversation. You want to stay on the sticks. You want to blend, and you want to be nice to me, right? Right, Fiber? Oh yeah? How did it go? I ordered a little set, and it hasn't come in yet, and because I have the patience of a toddler, I also ordered another kit off of Amazon, which had come in, so that's the one I'm working on. But I do still have coming like this little set of tiny dragons to diamond paint too. But yeah, how did the ornaments go? Also, how are they like? Do they come like with a way to actually turn them into ornaments? So engrossed that it is the raid coming. Oh no! It is kind of that sort of thing, right? Where you can very easily just be so focused on it. It's both very cheap, like very chill, but also very engrossing. Yeah, well, I didn't think I wanted a big one. But the one that I got, so this is the one that I picked up from Amazon. I think it's like 13 by 13, and it's Spock from Star Trek, which is why I had to get it. So this is what I got yesterday. So what I got done yesterday is like this chunk of his head, but it's like, you know, it's like about this squared. So it's not huge, but it's also going like pretty fast. So I'm thinking like bending. Well, so you know, have you seen those lamps that they have for like for cross stitch and for other things? It's basically like a ring light, but oh nice, two-sided. That sounds cool. But like, yeah, it's like a ring light, but it's got a big magnifying glass in the middle. So you sort of look through the magnifying glass, and it's for like it's for cross stitch if you don't see it super well specifically. So I think it might work for this also. I'm also like, I bend over the table to do it. Yeah, so you should be able to make it work for this too, I think. At least in theory. Try it. Yeah, even with the bifocals, I'm definitely getting old lady eyes, so. Okay. Come on. Come on. Be nice to me, Fiber. I am nice to you. I talk to my inanimate things. Yeah, well, in the grand scheme of things that are that are or could be medically wrong, terrible eyesight is on the easier to correct side of things. All right. Again, let's brace against the sternum and try to not stab myself in the guts with the sharp pokey thing. Come on. Oh. There's a blob in the middle, and there's not much I can do about it anymore. It is just going to be slightly blobby in the middle. Yeah, I talk to all my things because, I don't know, I think mostly because it makes me feel better, but clearly the Fiber only cooperates because I asked it to, obviously. There we go. Yeah, I think once I finish spinning the purple that's on the wheel now, we'll spin these guys, because spinning from the rologs just goes really fast. So, okay, let's find it. I put away the other brush because I kept grabbing it even when it was the wrong one, but it's now the right one. Come on. Do you Do you do stuff with fiber, Celtic? Do you spin or weave or crochet or knit or any of those things? What am I doing? Ah, you crochet. Awesome. Oh, hey, in the Creative Club Discord, under collabs, I made one called Fiber because I want to try to do like a setup where, you know, we have somebody from the earlier stages of like dyeing, blending, spinning, and then knitting or crocheting, right? Like do like, and have somebody right into the next person and kind of do like the fiber journey. So find it and like click on the crochet one. There's a whole bunch of people who do it. So I am blending. So this fiber is 60% Polworth wool, which is a kind of sheep, 20% yak, 20% silk. And this fiber is straight up silk. So I am just adding more silk into my fiber, basically just like by sticking it on the board in a sandwich and then pulling it off carefully in these like little rologs, and then I'm going to spin from the rologs. So instead of the way I'm spinning this one where it's you know, like a thing of roving, instead of this part I'm going to spin off of the little snails. So once I'm done with all the snails, I'm gonna weigh them all, and by weight split the batch in half, and like put one half on one bobbin and one half on the other bobbin, and then ply them together because I'm gonna make a 2-ply. And I did this with a green, like I bought the green and the burgundy together. And so once I have both the green and the burgundy all spun up, then I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with it, because I have no idea yet. Oh my god, sorry about that noise. That was physics happening. Alright, come on. I think we can put all of this onto one rolog, because it's too little to... And I'm pulling it, so this part, the pulling, I don't know how well you can see, but the fibers are kind of like stretching and pulling out from each other. So that's the part that makes it easier to then spin off the rolog, because it's already drafted and pulled loose, but it also aligns the fibers like all in one direction neatly, which is something that we want because we want them all going in the same direction when we spin them. And they are like mostly in the same direction in the roving already, right? Because this is already carded, but it was then dyed. Clearly it was dyed in the roving, so it's a tiny, tiny bit felted. Come on. Pull up. Do not get stuck in there. There we go. Yeah, this is neat. So I've been doing stuff with fiber all my life. I learned to spin a while ago, like way more than a decade ago, but I didn't do it very much. Like I had a wheel, but have this problem coordinating when my feet and my hands are doing something very different. It's like, you know, the old pat your head and rub your tummy. I cannot even. But then about a year ago, I picked up this wheel, which is electric. So it's got a motor, so the feet are out of the equation. The motor does the job of the foot pedaling. I'm just trying to get that stick out. So it's been a lot easier to spin and a lot faster to spin. So I've been doing a lot of spinning. And I was complaining to a friend that I had like little bits of yarn and fiber and like odds and ends. And she came over and brought her blending board and said, hey, look, you can do this thing. And I said, OMG, where has this been my whole life? I'm not even gonna take this, put it into bits. So I, of course, immediately picked up a set of blending tools, and really, like, you really just need like not a lot. If you have carders, which are just they're like about this big with sticks, and you get two, and you kind of card your wool, and that's what you do to get the roving, which I don't have because I just buy my roving because I don't have sheep. And people say you're saying this now, but I don't have anywhere to put a sheep, so. There's a bill where I lived. Oh, alpacas are cool. Do a little spinning, and I was in the midst of raising kids though, so I avoided a new hobby, sadly. Oh, wow. Yeah, spinning is really pretty neat. So I just like all the things to do with string. I learned how to crochet, so when I was 3, I had not the measles, the other one, mumps. And I was sick, and I was not in, daycare or kindergarten or whatever. And this was, it's not that it was long enough ago to not get a vaccine, but it was in a different country, and the vaccine was not the MMR vaccine, like it wasn't a very good vaccine that's used over there. But anyway, so I was sick and I had a fever and I was kind of like going crazy. So my grandma taught me how to make chain with a crochet hook, because I was 3, and then left me alone with her yarn, like went to do something else, and came back a couple of hours later wondering why it's been so quiet. And I had turned literally all the balls of her yarn I could find into chain. I like to joke that Grandma was very sad she taught me to do this. But she taught me to crochet, and I learned to crochet when I was very little, and then I learned to knit when I was, I don't know, maybe 5 or something. And I have been knitting ever since then. Like I hadn't been crocheting at all. My knowledge of crochet had mostly devolved to being like, I can do a chain so that I can pick up stitches for knitting, use it as a start of something, and I can do like an edging. Yeah, right? Like, because that's what children do. And so I like to say that I don't know how to crochet. I have, and I don't. I have now to date done, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4 projects, 4 crochet projects in my life. I've just started the 5th because I was watching the Crafty Cub do a cowl, and I was like, I can do a crocheted Mobius cowl, obviously. So I started it. It's complicated and kind of hard, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm working on it. Because I've made like 3 amigurumis, and so I picked this stuff up from streamers, and then I watched Sleeping Luna Designs do a granny square stitch t-shirt sweater, so I did it. I made that sweater. It works and it fits and it's a sweater. but it's granny squares, so it's kind of like cheating, because my problem with crochet is counting. Because in knitting, all of my stitches are on my needle, so I don't have to count. I mean, I have to count, but I know where the stitches are. In crochet, because I have to basically pick up the stitches every row, I miscount, and I end up with like trapezoids and parallelograms instead of rectangles. With granny squares, square stitch, it's much easier because you don't have to count, right? Your next cluster is going into the space between clusters, and you know where it is, and it's not hard to find it. So it sort of avoided my problem of being able to count crochet stitches, because I cannot count the crochet stitches, like, at all. And I think that's the big problem I am having with the cowl, because so it's a Mobius cowl. It's got like the little Mobius trick, but that part's not hard. The hard part is that I am skipping 3 stitches and then doing a bunch of stuff into the 4th one, and consistently skipping the correct number of stitches is a thing that other people can do, and I have no idea what is going on. But at least, like, it's a round cowl, so if it's slightly not exactly a rectangle, probably nobody will notice. At least I hope. So, yeah, that's kind of why I'm having a struggle with it. But I want to be, as they say, bisexual. I want to be able to do both crochet and knitting. Like, I don't have to be as good at one as the other. It's not like a competition. Yeah, was it a rectangle when you're done? Because that was my problem. I believe I ended up with something very wavy and somewhat trapezoidal. Much bigger on one side than the other. Right, yes. It kept getting wider. Exactly. That is exactly my problem. Which is why I was like, because I like making, I like making clothing items out of my fiber. I make amigurumi, I make them, I knit them, and I've now made a couple crocheted ones, but primarily, I won't be able to make clothing. And clothing, by virtue of needing to fit, has to kind of stick to the patterned number of stitches. Alright, so that is all the silk put in. The entire ½ ounce of it. And it's a ½ ounce because it was a full ounce that I split in half, the green and the purple. Okay. I mean, that works. Was it gonna be like a scarf to begin with, or what was the rectangle gonna be? This cat ear beanie just Hey, a cat-eared beanie sounds cool. But yeah, I like the look of like a lot of the crocheted shawls, and I like that there's a lot more amigurumi patterns for crochet. But I don't like the look of the crocheted fabric for like sweaters and things, because the way it looks and the way it drapes is kind of like not what I want out of my like sweaters and things, which is part of why I knit. I like the drape a lot more, and I like making socks. But there's just a lot of things like shawls for which crochet is pretty perfect. So I want to be able to have the option to do either and not like see a cool pattern and go, oh, I want to make this, but I'm so sad I don't know how to do this craft. So I don't want to be limited by that. So that's kind of my thing, is I just want to be able to have the skill set in my repertoire to be able to do it. Because I'm not one of those people who thinks, oh, one is the one true fiber art and it's so much better than the other. I'm like, no, it's different for different purposes, and it was invented for different purposes, and we should not necessarily attempt to do with one what the other is better at, but everything is needed, right? Like, it wasn't invented because people didn't know knitting existed. It's a newer art, right, than knitting, but not like hugely newer. But it didn't, like, again, it didn't come to life in a vacuum. It came to life because the existing techniques of knitting were not what was needed for the purpose. Crochet was better for the purpose, and therefore it was made. So we should use the things for the purposes, like, not for the purposes they were made, right? Like, innovation is great, but we should remember that it has a place. Like, every craft has its own place. And oh my god, why is the fluff going up my nose? So it's like, it's not a question of better. It's a question of more suited for any given task and for any given person too, right? Like, for example, my grandma could always do both, but she was primarily a knitter until her hands had too much arthritis for her to knit, but she could still crochet. So now, and for the past maybe 20 years, she's been primarily a crocheter because she has arthritis in her hands, right? And so for her purposes, crochet is preferable, but again, that doesn't make it better. It's just better for her. So I don't know, I get very weirded out when people like get competitive with their fiber arts, and I'm just like, it's like saying, I don't know, kettles are better than skillets. Like, yes, do not boil your water in a skillet. Ooh, nice. I will say, if you are learning to knit, I was going to say there are two ways to knit, but there's more than two, but there's two kind of like main ways to knit. One is called English, and one is called Continental. And in America, people generally knit English because knitting became very popular during World War I time. And continental knitting used to be called German knitting, and most things that were German were bad, so people didn't do it. Sometimes continental knitting is also known as left-handed knitting. It is faster, easier, looks better, and most American teaching books don't teach it. So when you get your kit, because Santa's gonna bring you one, when you get your kit, see what it teaches you, but go on YouTube, look at a lot of tutorials, look up continental knitting. The main difference is where you carry your fiber. So, in knitting, let's pretend this is knitting needles, right? In knitting, here, in English knitting, your yarn that you're going to be using is just kind of hanging out over here, and you let go of this needle, pick up your yarn, wrap it around, pick your needle back up, pull it through. In continental knitting, your yarn is it's still in the back, but it's like over here, and it's on this hand. So you pick it up and pull it through, and pick it up, you don't let go of the needle at any point. Because you let go of the needle and immediately it slides out of things, and there's belts that people wear that have a hole in them so you can anchor your needle in the belt. Don't even. Pretend like you're left-handed and you're not afraid of things called German knitting. And just start with continental. Especially if you're a crocheter, it'll be easier because when you crochet, right, your fiber is wrapped around your left hand. Yeah, it will just be easier because I have had countless friends who are like, I've learned to knit and I'm struggling with it. I can't get my tension right. Everything is weird. And I sit down with them and I'm like, okay, we're going to forget everything you learned. Try it this way. And they try it and they're like, oh my God, why was I taught the other way? And I'm like, history? I don't know. Like, stupid parts of history? But yeah, just don't even try the other way. It's like, it's not worth it. It's not particularly better. Like, your stitches end up doing the same thing. And it's just easier. And I mean, there are people for who can't, like, they can't maintain tension in their left hand. They're so right-handed. They can't. Right. And your tension is, I don't know where the tension is, nowhere good. So when I knit, I don't have any knitting handy. Don't even have, like, anything, because I don't have a project on the needles right now, which is weird. I know, super weird for me too, but, like, do I not even have, like, a random ball of yarn somewhere? And the answer is, I might not. How is that possible? Oh no, I do. I had that weird ball. Yeah, they sent me, I don't know. When I got my fiber, they sent me this weird yarn, but, like, here. Let's cast on some stuff super quickly. We're gonna cast on like 5 stitches, and this yarn, which is too fat for these needles, but here are my stitches, right? So this is continental knitting. Put your needle through, pick up your yarn, pull it through, pull it off the other needle, right? So I'm picking up my stitches. I don't know if this is at all visible, it's tiny, but the tension is happening because I did this, right? This is my tension. If I now decide that I'm going to do it the other way, which I don't know very well, so take it with a grain of salt, right? I put my needle through, I let go of it, and I guess use my thumb to hold it. I wrap my yarn around it, I pull it through, and I put my needle through, I let go of it, I wrap my yarn around the thing, and I pull through. So, like, you can certainly do it. It is absolutely possible, but like, why? Why would I do this when I can do the other thing? I'm gonna finish this row this way because I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess, but yeah, it is just harder. And the tension, like, certainly don't have the tension the same way. And again, right, like, for comparison, and yeah, I'm much more practiced with one than the other, but, and you do, like, like, don't get me wrong, you have to get used to it, but, like, this finger guides the yarn for me to be able to wrap it around and pull through, but I don't have to let go of anything. I feel like this is the same problem as, like, I don't know, eating your steak with a knife and fork. When I first came to the US, so I grew up in Russia, in the Soviet Union. But yeah, anyway, when I first came to the US, I realized that children were taught to, like, cut a piece of food, put their knife down, move the fork to their right hand, pick up the piece of food and eat it. And we were taught, like, you hold your fork, you hold your knife, you cut your piece, and you use your left hand to put your fork in your mouth, right? But people here were taught to like put the cutlery down and switch hands and do it. And I feel like this is the same thing, and it's just weird to me. Like, I know it works for people, but it's just kind of weird to me. And you know, like I learned to knit even weirder than this. It was like there's a variant of continental. Yeah. But there's a weird version of continental knitting that is done primarily in Norway and Russia. Oh, we're having ads. We're gonna go to a BRB screen because ads. Okay, I think we're done having an ad. I am glad we had two. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so Russian and Norwegian knitting is weird, right? So like your stitches and knitting kind of like sit on the needle, and they have a front and back. So in the knitting that's done there, it's all done through the back loop. So like the way you put the needle in is different. And what it does is, if you're just doing like a knit row and then a purl row and a knit row and a purl row, it just, you know, your knit stitches twist and your purl untwists them. But if you're doing something in the round, like a sock or a hat, there's no untwist, so your stitches are twisted, which means that instead of like sitting next to each other, they are like stacked. So it creates a thicker fabric, which in Norway and in Russia is often desirable to have a thicker fabric for like your hats and socks. So I learned to knit that way. I learned to knit through the back loop. And I did that for a while, but it means that like if I'm using a normal American pattern, anytime it has like a knit two together, on one side and a slip knit on the other, which is a way to decrease in leaning this way or that way. I'd have to reverse them. Otherwise my decrease is kind of like leaned the wrong way. And it just got annoying, so I just started knitting the regular way. But you know, but that was like a thing to kind of figure out and adjust when I started knitting here in the US. And like I've been, again, like I said, I've been knitting all my life, but I, you know, did it only a little bit in like high school and middle school, but then I got to college and I was like, at some point I was like, I should knit my boyfriend a sweater. I've been only doing like small things for a decade. Clearly what I want to do is do a giant sweater, because why do anything halfway? So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And I knit him a sweater. It did not fit. And he did not appreciate it. This is there's the sweater curse. There's the boyfriend sweater curse, which, if you've not heard, goes like this. If you knit your boyfriend a sweater, you can break up with him. And so therefore, like, only do it if you are very sure and it's like a very long-term relationship, blah, blah, blah. The reason for this is you're going to spend like 100 million hours knitting your boyfriend a sweater, and he's going to not appreciate it because he's a boy. And then you're going to be mad because he did not appreciate it enough, all that effort you put in. And then you'll be mad at him, and that's why you'll break up. Like, that's the origin of the boyfriend sweater curse. But the superstition is that if it's like a new boyfriend, do not make him things. And I extend that to, like, I only make things for people who either like are my dear friends and know how much work it is for me to do it, or who are also makers and crafters and therefore know how much work it is to do it, because like regular people don't understand. It's just like people who don't understand, like, oh, but why don't you sell it? Okay, because I spent $150 on yarn, and then I spent 100 hours plus making it, and even if I pay myself like below minimum wage, who is going to buy a $300 sweater that I made? Like, I wouldn't. So I do not sell my knitting. I gift my knitting, or I keep my knitting, or I give away my knitting. But sorry, I'm just putting the stuff away. I'm just getting all the rologs out because we're gonna weigh them and divide them, and re-roll some of them because sometimes the snails like to fall apart. Yeah, right. It's not really a money-making hobby, and it can't be. I mean, it could be, but not if you're going to like, oh my god, as I'm making everything shake and fall over. But I need to get my stupid scale out. My terrible old dirty Weight Watchers scale, but it works. So all right, let's do this in grams. It will be easier. Okay, so let's start with just seeing if we can pile all of this on here without it falling down. All right, snails. Behave for me, please, snails. Please behave, please behave. Please behave. Please behave, snails. One more. Stay. Okay, 113 grams, which means that half of that is going to be 56-ish. So let's pull things off until we have 56 grams, or close to it. 75, 70, 58, 50, 57. Okay, so this is 57 grams. So let's weigh the rest of them and make sure that they are about the same. Okay, where's my tear button? Thank you. 0, like why were we having a problem? Okay, so let's see. 29, 34, 41, 53, 58. So we have 57 grams and 58 grams. Let's, because I am a distrustful fuck, we're gonna do it. We're just gonna verify. Why is it 54 now? Why is it 54 now? This is why we have problems. Okay, this is now 56. Like, we want it to be reasonably even. Okay, 56 and 57. Yeah, I give my stuff away sometimes, so like I sometimes give it to people who are gonna like auction things to fundraise, right? So then people will pay whatever they think it's worth, and the money is going to some good cause, right? So like that's a reasonable thing, I find. But like the other thing I tell my friends who are like, oh, I'll pay you to make me something, like, no you won't. But if you want me to make you something, you can buy the yarn and I will do the making, but you can spend the money on the fiber. And that works out really well for folks too, because then, you know, I have the joy of creating a thing, they get the thing they want, and I don't have to pay for the yarn. All right, so that is that. So now we've got these two, and I will, can we turn off, please? Maybe. Hopefully it will turn off at some point on its own. Put the scale away. Okay. Scale away. Oh, nice. See, that is cool. That sounds very cool. All right, I think what we're gonna do, other than I'm gonna put away this brush before I stab myself with it, is let's do some spinning, because I've got a little bit more time. Can I move this without dislodging the like 2 Girl Scout cookies I have in a box on this desk? Like, there's just so much crap here. Oh yeah, well, and kids tend to really appreciate stuff too, like regardless of the age of the kid. So yeah, these, oh my god, this desk has too many things on it, too many things, but there we go. This is the already made bobbin of this stuff, so I figure the sooner I finish this, the sooner I can spin the rologs we just made. Let me get this just a little bit, well, I need the pedal, but I have been talking and talking and talking, but my microphone has been off this whole time. No microphone this whole time. I hate that. I really need to fix that problem when I come back from like a commercial thing. I forget to turn my microphone back on, and I think it's been like, I don't know, 40 minutes that I've just been talking to myself with no mic on. Go me. Sigh. Talked all about like my meal planning and all the rologs. I think I talked to myself while I weighed the rologs. Whoopsie daisies. I guess I noticed it now, so that's something. Sigh. It's because I switched to BRB, not in my Stream Deck substitute, but in actual OBS, so I manually kill the microphone. And that means I have to manually remember to turn back on the microphone, and that's not a thing that happens, so. Oops. Sigh. Totally professional here. Pro streamer. No microphone, just talking to myself. Sigh. Well, now the microphone is back on. And say that we're probably going to go until about 3. It's 2:22 now, so yeah. Then I gotta do meal planning and go grocery shopping, which I talked about at length. Yeah, nope. Sigh. Oh well. I will just blame it on technology, even though the technology in question is my brain. And guess move on, because hell else can you do? But sorry to anybody listening, or I guess, as the case may be, not listening, because we did not successfully manage to have the ability to let you listen to me prattling on. I'm getting hungry too, which is like understandable because it's 2:30 and I have not had food yet, but also I've been awake for like 3.5 hours, so. But I was just saying earlier that no one heard that we are gonna stream. I'm gonna try to stream tomorrow. We'll see how that works, and probably Friday evening. Definitely Saturday afternoon, but like Friday's gonna be complicated because I have to take my car into the mechanic and also drive my bestie to a medical thing. So I don't know when I'll be home. But Saturday, I know I have a morning appointment. I'm going with my housemate to get his eyeballs checked and potentially dilated, hence why I'm going. But I will be home in the afternoon and evening. And I think we'll do Sunday morning again, early afternoon, and probably the same like all next week, because I don't have anything going on. Definitely going to be probably streaming the 25th because I got nothing else to do. Everything is closed, no appointments happening for obvious reasons, and there's only so much Chinese food and movie that I'm willing to actually do, so instead I think we'll just be here crafting, but I will get to get out my cool extra scene I made last year or maybe 2 years ago. I made this like Hanukkah menorah for this stream that just adds a little flame every day, so I'm gonna have the correct number of little flames for any given day. And then I will be gone from January 2nd through 14th visiting family, and I might try to stream from there off of my laptop, but I'm not sure how that's gonna go. And also, I don't know what I'm gonna bring there for crafts. So if I stream from there, it's probably gonna be games, just because that's a little bit easier. I am obviously like not bringing any of my setups, so I'm only gonna have like the camera that is built into the laptop. So that's not super good for crafting. And also, I'm a little bit worried about flying there with the wheel, just because like I fly with it fine and TSA tends to be fine, although my flight home from Seattle, the TSA lady was like, that front part looked like a barrel. So I was like, I promise you it's a spinning wheel and not a weapon. But she did like, I don't think she needed me to open it up and show her, but she really wanted to see it. So she was like, can I see it? Yes, I can open it up and show you. But to see my family, I'm flying on El Al, and they have extra additional security. So I don't know how they'll feel about a motor and batteries and stuff. Oh yeah? Okay. Good. So that is good that folks will be streaming. Yeah, I just have like literally nothing to do on Christmas. It's like all the stores are closed, all the businesses are closed, and all the stuff on TV is very Christmas focused, and I don't do Christmas. So I like nothing to do. So I try to find things to do that are entertaining, and stream is one of them. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave the wheel at home and not bring it with me. Plus, I'm not sure I'm gonna have like a lot of downtime because I get a lot of relatives to see, and because my parents keep the Shabbos, I can't use the wheel on Saturdays. So, ooh, I need to see Elf. Like it, I always thought it was like totally dumb, and I didn't want to see it. But I have heard a lot more things about it, and like looked up a lot more of the plot and stuff, and it's like actually sounds like a good movie. So one of the things I am gonna do probably around Christmas time is see if I can find somewhere where I can stream Rise of the Guardians, because Rise of the Guardians is a really good movie. Like it is so much a better movie than it had any right to be. It looked like it was going to be real dumb, and it was an amazing movie. And if you have not seen it, oh yeah, you have. There you go. But yeah, for folks who have not seen it, see it. It's so good. So I might find somewhere to stream that and watch it, just because it's really cool. And despite like having a Santa Claus in it and an Easter Bunny and all that stuff, it manages to not be preachy, and it manages to not be like Christmassy. We do not need an ad break right now. Thanks. Thanks, Twitch, but we're gonna snooze that ad break and not have it right now. We'll have it in a few minutes. Because we still have 12 minutes of no pre-rolls, so. Oh, good. Yeah, I keep looking at Turbo, and I keep kind of like meaning to get it, but I keep meaning to get it. So I have two Twitch accounts, and one of them is the one that I use to like watch my stream to see what it looks like, and I keep thinking I want to get Turbo just so I don't get ads on it, but also I kind of want to be able to see what my ads are doing too, so I tend to not subscribe to that account. But yeah, I have a couple of friends who do Turbo, and they really like it. I want the emotes, so I subscribe to people, and then I want to be able to use their subscriber emotes, which I can't do with Turbo. And I figure if I'm going to do that, I don't want to then like also get Turbo, because then I feel like I'm paying Twitch too much. I don't know. It like makes sense, right? Because it basically makes me not have ads for all the other people, but that I'm not subscribed to. But I don't know. Yeah, I have to be a little bit judicious with how many things and people I subscribe to, just because I got laid off in July and I still am not working, so don't want to just toss money around, but and I try to remember to use my Prime sub judiciously as well. But yeah, it is so easy to get carried away. Like, I made myself promise that I would not subscribe to anybody I visited on the train. I would follow people, and if I ended up like watching their stream a couple of times, then I would subscribe, because otherwise I'm gonna spend hundreds of bucks. So I know I've like gone back to Black Sheep Meats a couple of times, so, and I had my Prime sub free, so I did that yesterday, and I'm probably going to end up subscribing to another couple of people, but I sort of want to make sure that I'm going to their stream a bunch of times in order to like make that decision. But oh my god, nice. Yeah, no, I think people were much more chill when they got to me. Like a couple of folks followed, but nothing like too exciting. I know a lot of people had like very kind of frenetic train stops with people like doing big gift subs or just like lots of stuff, but mine was pretty chill because it was also like 10 p.m. here, so I think that's my hair and it should not be in the spinning. So I think people were just kind of like winding down a little bit from the stuff, but it was so cool. I was so happy about that raid train. Like, I followed so many people and I found so many more people in the various crafting communities, and it is just awesome. Nice. Yeah, I have a lot of friends with not a lot of money, so my friends all like do the Prime subs, but that means that they can't do a lot of gifting. But that's totally fine. Like, nobody has to do that. I did notice, I was looking at my, like, whatever that thing, whatever that particular view is in my, whatchamacallit, creator dashboard, but that, like, tells you, like, this month so far you've had this much from ads and this much from, yeah, I mean, hey, being spoiled a little is always good. But yeah, so like, it says, this much from ads, this much from Prime subs, this much from Turbo, whatever. It has like this much from experiment. So I have no idea what experiment is, but I guess experiment is getting me money. I think, like, my guess is, because they've been experimenting with, they're still experimenting with, like, instead of regular ads, sometimes, like, shrinking the screen a little and having, like, the ad to the side or underneath. So I think, like, that's what they're calling experiment, because I think that's still in experimental. I know I opted in for that because I, like, as a watcher, I very much prefer that ads are done that way so that I don't, like, miss stream. But, like, some of my friends that I watch, do, like, they don't do Twitch scheduled ads. They do that manually. So every, like, hour they have a BRB and they put in a 3-minute ad so that they have the 3 minutes per hour thing. But so that it's, like, never a surprise or whatever. But I will forget, so I keep the ads on a schedule, and they're supposed to happen every hour for 3 minutes, starting about a half hour in. And I try to run an ad, like, during my starting soon screen, because, like, who cares about that? So that, because I really don't want pre-rolls. Like, I super don't want pre-rolls. As much as Nilo was saying, when you raid in, you don't get pre-rolls, I've had it happen, including in this raid train. Like, we would raid into somebody, and an ad would start, and clearly it was not an ad that the streamer manually run, or anything, but yeah, so what I tend to do is when the ad starts, so in 5 minutes there'll be an ad, and like I will put the thing on BRB and I will like stretch and get a drink and get up to find something that I needed, like I want to show something on stream and it's like somewhere in the room, go pee. Right? Like bathroom break is what happens during ads for everybody, honestly. Like, and that's one of the reasons I put it on BRB, so even folks who are subscribed, kind of get that, is like, if you're sitting there watching a streamer, hey, we're going to be back in 3 minutes, go use the bathroom, go get a drink of water, go get a cup of tea, like whatever people need to do, right? It's good to have like a set aside time to be able to just do that. Like, which is not to say that I don't, hydrate or whatever on stream. I do, but like sometimes you just need to blow your nose and you don't want to do it on camera, basically. But yeah, like I picked that up from so there's a streamer called Hi Hello Rachel. Like, I'm streaming wearing her merch, which is hilarious. And I've been a mod for her since January. She streams Sims building and playing primarily. But she has like a pretty big, cool community, and she's a really cool streamer, and that's what she does. And I kind of picked it up from her. She does, she shows a slideshow of her cats during her BRB, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, my BRB screen is like just nothing. So maybe what I'll do is put in the slideshow I made for the raid train of like just some finished fiber arts and things, and non-fiber arts. Maybe I'll like put that to just flip through during the BRB screen, right? I might do that while the current ad that's in like 2 minutes runs and there's a BRB screen, because but I'm going to turn my mic on or off, and when I come back from commercial, if you see my mouth moving but no sound's coming out, please let me know, because like I said, after the last commercial break and BRB screen, I spent, 40 minutes talking to myself with my microphone muted. So that was great. That was a real profesh move. But, I'm pretty sure there is not a single streamer out there, no matter how big or how famous or how, like, professional they are, who has not done that. I am sure even Pix did that at least once in his streaming career. I should ask him if that's true. But I like to think that it is, because it makes me feel better about my nonsense. Ooh, hey, Pukara, I just saw you lurk. Welcome. Thank you for lurking. Pukara is amazing. They did the art I use for my icon. So like the one over there, the little chickie in a hoodie with the teal and purple hair. And Pukara did that, and it is amazing. And they're the person I'm gonna go meet tomorrow to pick up yarn from, because we ordered yarn from Hobby and like split it and shipping and stuff. So into OBS. We have an ad coming in 10 seconds. So I'm going to pause the spinning and put us in a BRB just for the purposes of the ad. Yes, eat food, please. Okay, I think I remembered to turn the microphone back on. Oh my god. I can't believe I did that for like that whole time. The whole time. But I'm back, and I did put the I put the slideshow on the BRB screen like halfway through the ad. So now that's gonna be there at least, so it's not just like sit there and be bored and while I, go use the bathroom and drink some water. Although, I suppose if the goal is to encourage everybody else to get up and go use the bathroom and drink some water, maybe a very boring BRB screen is the way to go, but I don't think anybody's going to think they're missing anything important just because I happened to put a slideshow on. Been thinking I need to get myself what did we do? Did we just break the thread? Well, I suppose it was bound to happen sooner or later. Where did we break it? Where did you break, thread? Like, where are you? Ugh, hate when that happens, because then I can't find it. It was like all the way on the end here somewhere. Oh my god. Like, seriously? It's like, where? Because I have to find it, right? Like, I can't just blend it onto anything. It has to be the actual, like, end of... No, that's not it. Oh my god. Why? Why are you doing this to me, yarn? Alright, that's not it. So, where? Sometimes it's like super obvious where something broke, and sometimes it's like this, and you're like, okay, where are you, little end of yarn? Where could you be? And could you be somewhere slightly more obvious than clearly wherever it is that you currently are? Because I can't find you. I don't want to just break. It has to be somewhere. Where are we? Oh my god. How is this happening? This happening? It's like the worst it's ever been. Usually it's not as bad. Like, really? You tore off. What did you tear off of? this one. And this thing was like over here, so it had to have been somewhere on this end. It's not that. Aha. Maybe? Like... This is under a bunch of things, so I'm very perplexed as to what is going on. How is this? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna question this. Maybe that will bite me in the butt when it's flying time, but I'm just gonna not question this. Just gonna assume that this is just how it is. And hope for the best. Because seriously, Fiber, like, for realsies, what were we thinking? Who knows? We weren't. We were not thinking. We were pieces of string, and pieces of string do not think, right? That's not a feature of pieces of string. Alright. Okay, I think everything that snapped got blended back in. Great. Ay, ay. Because it tears, and then it's just like, I have blended in and camouflaged amongst all the rest of this fiber, and you shall never find me again. And yeah, you're just never gonna find me again. Which is what that was. I don't even remember what I was talking about. So I guess it was not super important. Might talk about it again if it comes back to mind, but who knows? Okay, the end is nigh, maybe, or at least progress is being made, which I guess is all I can hope for. But oh, it is 2:57. Well, we've been on for 2 hours and 50 minutes. So I think I want to go another like 10-15 minutes, and then it'll be time to read out to somebody. So I should probably like pull up the list of who's on and see who's actually currently on. Hi, sweet! Welcome to the tail end of stream. I saw that I missed your stream this morning, but it was when I was not at all awake. But we did a bunch of blending and rologs, and are now just doing a little bit of spinning. Yeah, I've got one bobbin of singles of this purple already, so this is gonna be the second bobbin, and then we will ply them. So yeah, but we took all the burgundy and blended the silk into it, made the rologs, weighed and split them. It is, but you know what? Those generations did not have an electric wheel. And the electric wheel makes this so much easier because I don't have to pedal with my feet. I do not have to align what my feet are doing with my hands, which is a problem. Like, it's not hand-eye coordination, it's hand-foot coordination that I just don't have any of. So taking the foot pedaling out of the equation makes this a lot easier. But yeah, I love anything that has to do with string. So if there's string, I do it, is what I say, which is why I'm trying to get better at crochet, because having been a knitter for forever, I should know how to do it too. But yeah, I spin and I weave and I knit and I now crochet a little. And I do some tatting, and I've done bobbin lace, although I just don't like doing it. Thank you for following. But yeah, oh, and I dye yarn. I've not dyed fiber yet. I really need to. But I do not have sheep. I am never going to have sheep. I live in a little condo community, and it is a co-housing community, so like totally could have sheep. People have chickens and bees and stuff, but I'm not going to, because I should never take care of living things, so I don't have pets or children. And sheep would fall under the pet category. And therefore other people get to make the sheep, and I get to buy the shearing product. Someday I will get the fleece kind of like as is and do the washing and the carding and the prep of the fleece into roving, but right now I'm not like in a place where I can, for example, do that to my bathtub. Because let me tell you, when you get a sheep's fleece, it has in it everything that the sheep was in, right? People forget, but when the fleece comes, it's like full of sticks and mud and things that come out the back end of the sheep. So you have to wash all of that out, and that's it. Then it's a tangled mess, and you have to card it so all the like fibers line up in one direction. And not yet. Someday, maybe, but not yet. For now, I get roving already carded and washed and like all ready for working with. But I do sometimes get it undyed. Like I have a pound of undyed merino, and I keep meaning to dye it or blend it. Right? Like I got a very bright blue bamboo, so I got it to blend with that bamboo, just because it's a white undyed, well, it's undyed roving, but it's like, the color of a white sheep. So it will definitely dilute the blue to be kind of like a lighter blue, and it'll make the bamboo much easier to spin. Bamboo is terrible to spin by itself. It's very slippery, has a very short staple, and it just breaks all the time. So having it in a blend with some merino would be good, because the animal fibers, like the sheep fibers, have the little barbs on them, which means that they like their friends and they hold hands a lot. And that's why they stay in a thread. But bamboo, being basically like cellulose, doesn't. That's why it's slippery. It's also why silk is much more slippery. But so it doesn't have like the grabby hands thing. It's just the twist that's keeping it together. So it just breaks, the single breaks a lot as you spin. So maybe I'll try blending some of that next and see if it's good. If it's good, I'll just blend it in. But if not, I'll take the merino and dye it, because I think I have some blue. Yeah, I have some blue from Dharma, and so I can use it to do the dyeing. And I do stovetop dyeing. I have the one pot that's not for food. So should try it. I've been a little bit worried about dyeing roving just because I am terrified of felting it, frankly. And like this, because I can see how it's all very uniformly dyed. This was clearly dyed before it was carted into this particular state, as opposed to the Polworth that we were working with earlier, where he was clearly put into a roving and then dyed, because A, you could open up the roving and there was like lighter colors and sometimes white where the dye just didn't penetrate, but also because it was a little bit felted, because you have to like stir the dye and gets agitated and stuff. So you know, roving is good for like if you can do some variegated, you can like paint on it with dye, but I'm probably just going to dip like half of it into the blue for a while and the other half of it into the blue for less time, and I will end up with a gradient of sorts, or at least two halves. So that's probably going to be the way to do it. And I have instructions. I don't know. It's 16 ounces, right? It's a pound of fiber, so I'm kind of like worried that I'm going to mess it up completely. But on the other hand, I've had it for so long that it's like it's no longer going to feel like I wasted the money because I spent the money so long ago. Worst case, it'll felt a little and just be very, very dark blue, but we'll see. Also, maybe I'll take some of it aside to do some Kool-Aid dyeing with it, because that I've done a lot. Again, only with yarn, never with fiber, but Kool-Aid dyeing is fun. Mostly because people don't expect Kool-Aid to work to dye fiber, but it will dye any animal fiber, which means, by the way, your hair. It's also like it's a safe way to dye hair of like little kids, or if you are the sort of person who really wants to, I don't know, make your dog green for St. Patrick's Day. It's non-toxic because it's Kool-Aid. You have to use sugar-free. You have to use sugar-free Kool-Aid, or it's going to be terrible and this sticky. But this is just mix up Kool-Aid, heat up in microwave, put fiber in cup, heat up some more in microwave, and it's acidic enough, there's citric acid in it, that it fixes itself, right? It's got the mordant and the fix. So that's all you have to do, and then you just take it out and rinse it. Also, if you ever have like yarn it's like a wool acrylic or a wool nylon or something, doing Kool-Aid dyeing is great because the acrylic will not pick up any dye. It really, really only works on animal fibers. So like I've done it, you end up with this very nice, like very, not gradient, but variegated yarn where basically, you know, if it's like a 80-20 wool acrylic, you'll dye 80% of the yarn and the other 20% are going to stay undyed, and it's mildly hilarious. Your yarn will smell like whatever, right? Like I used blue raspberry Kool-Aid a while back, and eventually I ended up with socks that smelled a little like blue raspberry, kind of forever. But you know, there are worse things. It's a fun thing to do. Especially it's a fun thing to do with kids. Like if somebody's like, can you do a fiber thing for the children at like something, you know, my Girl Scout troop or whatever, like that's my go-to because the kids are very amused. All it needs is some Kool-Aid packets in the microwave, and yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, we should stop really and go find somebody to raid out to because it's after 3 p.m. and I gotta do my meal planning and grocery shopping. So let's get this anchored and so it doesn't go anywhere. Let me get my keyboard so that I can type things. But let's see who's on right now. Who's around? Let's see. Stitchcraft with Howl is on. Yarnia is on. KB Fibers is doing puzzles. Minty Pie is on. Yarny Pixie is on. Polarin is on. Let's go check out Yarny Pixie because they've started recently, so they are not likely to be also ending stream and raiding out, which is always a concern. Just because yeah. Alright, so Yarny Pixie, let's see, can I spell their name? Yeah, I think I can. Let's go there. Let's see if I can cobble together for us a... There we go, these are... Let's use like the default Twitch global emotes because not hype train, just regular global emotes thing, please. I just want the weird raid one because I know it exists. Well, maybe we'll do this here. Doink. There we go. We can use that thing. It is full of emotes everybody can have. I know folks are lurking, but we'll go hang out over there. Thank you for hanging out and for lurking. I love you all. I will be back hopefully tomorrow. I just need to wake up early enough. Alright. Bye.
How was your stream? What were you working on? Tell me all about it.